this is John for MTG Nexus here, finishing up, getting ready to finish up our league with Shardless Sultai and Legacy. As a friendly reminder, if you like Legacy and modern content, please consider subscribing to our channel here on YouTube, as well as giving us a follow on Twitch. If you really like this kind of content and would help to support it a little bit more, please consider either donating your Amazon Prime Gaming on Twitch, or checking out our Patreon page where the link will be down below of this particular video. So back on the grind tonight. We have 2 matches to finish with this league, and that's all I'm going to be doing tonight. Of course, that said, that could be a 2-hour process, as it did take us almost 2 hours to finish 3 matches last night, of which the vast majority of it was the matchup against Is It Delver and 4-color Snoko. Still trying to find our footing with this deck as to what the right blend of disruption and threats is. This is more akin to a mid-range deck than a control deck in the Legacy format here, although it does definitely have some controlling mid-range elements. It's based off of the old Shardless Sultai decks that we're using. Shardless Agent cascading to things like Ancestral Visions and Minotaurs. That version ran things like Deathrite Shaman and Liliana of the Veil. I don't know that Liliana is actually particularly that good in the format right now, especially with all of the Uro and Oko decks floating around. But the one thing that has been consistently impressive is people have questioned the Gilded Goose inclusion in the deck. And while I do think you could certainly get away with running more interaction, whether it be more Thought Seizes, more that kind of stuff, I do think Gilded Goose is a pretty fair balanced card, especially when you play it with Oko. This gives you a lot of turn 2 capabilities of going turn 2 Oko or turn 2 Shardless Agent, turn 2 Leovold, which one of the things with this deck is it doesn't quite have like the cantrip density of Snoko or some of that stuff, so it's not running like Ponders or Preordains, so it doesn't see as many looks at cards as some other decks. So it is relying on both the card quality and the 2-for-1-ness of what it's doing. So like Coatl and Hymn to Torok and Shardless Agent. We did go toe-to-toe with Snoko last night, so that felt pretty good, although I definitely had some play mistakes. We took Is It Delver's best shot in a 3-game set and came out victorious, and then obviously we're a little bit soft to certain combo decks, and we got kind of... Game 1, I definitely lost to Mono Red Storm, and then Game 2, I kept a bit of a questionable hand that kind of cost us the match. The one thing, like the sideboard cards and whatnot, that's something that comes with like playing the format a little bit more and doing some stuff of that nature. So we'll see how that balances out overall. I think the big takeaway from this deck is that it's definitely competitive as to how good it is. That's kind of part of it, is the pilot is inexperienced in the format, and the other part of it, tuning the list a little bit. So this hand is very mana heavy. I do think I keep it though. Probably gonna lead on. So if I lead on Goose, I really can't do everything I want to do. So I think I'm just going to lead on Thoughtseize here, and then him next turn if we absolutely have to. Alright, so looks like we're up against... I have no idea what we're up against. Minotaurs? It's like Ironcrag Feet is the most dangerous of those cards. Definitely not discounting the power of the medallions, but we can only do so much here. Alright, so we got the 2 things. They're going to have the medallion still, which is a little bit rough. Alrighty then. Hold back with our Goyf here. Obviously, they get some card filtration going here. Not ideal for us, but... Delightful. Yep. So 6, 5, 11. No, this isn't Cube. This is the the other league from last night. So we're just dead? So they can deal 11, 14 damage. I guess I could hold back Tarmogoyf this turn and try to trade. Force of roll their Iron Crag feet. I don't know. We're playing against tribal Minotaurs. It's something. Use this to make their block here, block here. We go to 3, go back to 6, take 3. It's definitely something, War Dog. It's definitely something. Yeah. Yeah, looks like we're dead. Indeed. I did definitely kind of screw up this game by allowing the first attack with the Minotaur, so don't really have a whole lot for tribal Minotaurs. Just saying. I mean, we got some stuff, right? But not a ton. I'm presuming they have some type of prison elements, so like we don't get rid of all abrupt decays. League of Old feels a little eh. Goose is okay, but not in like huge numbers here. Doesn't really profitably trade with what they're doing. And then back to basics doesn't feel necessary. Force of negation is okay. Fatal push, not really sure that it's that particularly good. Just submit like this. Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk up a deck when you just lose a game to Tribal Minotaurs. Just saying. This hand's pretty decent. Not going to lead on Goose here. Going to lead on Thoughtseize, obviously. Do I lead on Thoughtseize? Yeah, I still think I lead on Thoughtseize here. Well, point being is I'm losing to, like, randomness. Wow. That's a ballsy keep. It's definitely a stony keep, so to speak. See our hymns to Torok. Well, there's one of the ruby medallions, and we also lost Nahib. Hopefully you haven't drawn any other mana. This looks like we're going to be Abrupt Decaying plus Goosing next turn. As much as I would love to get Tarmogoyf down, I think we have to Abrupt Decay the Ruby Medallion. Tarmogoyf is what? A 5/6? For a deck that doesn't have that many lands, I sure do like to draw a lot of them these last couple of games. Assassin's Trophy is pretty nice here. I think Tarmogoyf alone is going to be pretty much enough to end this game. Chrome Mox. Okay. Ironcrag Feet? Nope, Thought Not Seer. Great opportunity to draw another land. Instead we draw Ancestral Visions that they get to take. Okay. Eight mana. Alrighty then. I wonder if there's some combination that kills us here? I think we finally hit Jank Knight. Let's hope they don't have a land drop. Okay. So we're dead, right? So I guess I should have been cracking my foods. I died to Minotaurs. That's what happened. Death Bellow Warcry off of Iron Crag Feet. Legacy. Who says there isn't room to brew? Try to put my good luck here. We go from like drawing all land hands to no land hands. So return to Gilded Goose or Oko. We are on the play, which makes me more inclined to keep this hand. I guess we put back a Shardless Agent. I have words for it. It's called embarrassing. About to get chaliced? Yeah, sure. Like, literally a card we don't particularly care about. Okay, so not only is my opponent playing Chalice, but they're also playing Thopter Foundry with Force of Negation. Okay. Well, why should they be embarrassed when they just, like, literally beat us? You know? Moving on. So, saw Thopter Foundry, Force of Negation, Chalice, Karn, probably means Narset. They might be on some type of nonsense. I think we're interested in these cards. Sylvan Lyre, Assassin's Trophy, maybe Veil of Summer. Might want to Plague Engineer just to clean up tokens. Well, it doesn't seem like it's going to be all that important. No, I understand. I'm just simply saying I'm not really sure that we have any room to talk after we lost to Tribal Minotaurs. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, is it any different than losing to Red Storm? Or Mono Red Storm? Him to Torok's kind of awkward in this hand. Force of Negation, or Force of Will, plus stuff seems okay. So yeah, we'll keep. Seems a little slow to develop, has a bunch of basics. Guess we'll play out Prismatic Vista. At least gives us the option to him to Torok if we rip another fetch or a dual land next turn. Yeah, I really don't care about Chalice on 1. It's annoying, but it's a card that I just don't care about. Okay. I love these, like, decks that you see that it's like, okay, so you're playing Ancient Tomb, Wasteland, and then just like, how on earth do you play these cards in your deck? Like, I know we're sitting here talking as we have all basics and him to Torox, but like looking at this, dude, I don't know enough about Legacy to really, like, sit here and critique the format. Like, I've played what, maybe 70 or 80 matches of the format lifetime. Shardless Agent. I guess we cast it, see what we hit. Spin the wheel, maybe we'll hit an Abrupt Decay. I think I'd rather take out the colored Minotaurs. Dimir Signet. Alright, so there is actually a deck that's been doing well. Well, everything we've seen so far indicates the same thing. They are playing one heck of a greedy mana base. They're playing things like Strix and Emery and Sai and Urza, in addition to some amount of stuff. This version is not playing Force of Negation in the main, though. So it makes me wonder how they fit that into a deck. Very well. Still think one Plague Engineer is correct. It's even possible that we want Dead of Winter, potentially. Veil doesn't seem particularly good. Why didn't I bring in Collector Roof? That seems like a major faux pas on my part. That really seems like a major faux pas that could have been bad. What else do I cut here? Another Goose, possibly? Especially on the draw. Goose. Alright, so this hand is incredibly vulnerable to Wasteland and actually cares about Chalice on one. Is that enough of a reason to throw back an Oko hand? I don't think so. Alright, well, basic swamp, sure. Sword of the Meek, Karn the Great Creator, and a bunch of lands. Strix is annoying, but it's also kind of whatever. Like, it bricks Goyf, but really doesn't do a whole lot else. There's Abrupt Decay too. So I guess I get Underground Sea here. And just hymn them. And we hit like the one card we don't want to put in our graveyard. I'm gonna save the EOT brainstorm. If we're desperately looking for force of will, we can. That's what I mean about like discarding the sword kind of sucked. We'll just EOT brainstorm here. Or obviously brainstorm in response to a chalice, like, you know, just random stuff. We know they have an ancient tomb in hand. Beyond that, we don't know a whole lot about what's going on with our hand. Plague Engineer would be pretty good. Here comes Chalice Claws. Yep, here comes Chalice Claws. So I could Force of Negation this, but I don't really think I have a whole lot that I care about at this point. We definitely want the 4th land. So I think I put back Coatl and then Shardless Agent. I really hope I did that in the correct order. Okay. At least it was in the right order. Double Oko seems pretty good from here. So at this point I can only trade with the Strix, which is kind of annoying. Do I go ahead and make that trade? I think so. Just to save some life total. Don't want to pass the turn. Wow. You think the deck's trying to tell us something? Start to pressure their life total a little bit. Did they go after us or did they go after Oko? They go after Oko, sure. Fortunately for you, I have 2 more where that came from. Six mana. What is this? Chalice on 3. Not worth a Force of Negation. So do I even try to protect this Oko? I think so. Still don't think I deploy another Oko here. Yep. Oh, they went after me. Okay, sure. That one's kind of annoying. Feels like we're getting close to having a checkmate on this game. So they play almost all at sorcery speed, which means Force of Negation is pretty good against them. Okay. That one's a little annoying. Here's the first two matchups are Dragon Zord, because I have dun 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 dun. Yeah, I don't think I care about Talisman here. Alright, so we put Brainstorm back on top, Bayou back on top. Bird. What a long, grandy affair, aye? I guess I could have kept... Well, hello there. Guess our opponent tapped out and had enough. So... Gilded Goose, that, and Uro. Uro probably would have put checkmate on this game, if nothing else. I think we were already getting to that point anyway. Force of Will... So, I think the long and the short of this particular deck is it's pretty good against the other more normal mid-range control decks of the format. Like, it's pretty good again. I think, I could be wrong and have to go back and check through the other leagues, but I think I'm undefeated in like 3 or 4 matches against Delver variants. It was nice to go one-on-one with Snoko because the fact that this deck was able to hang in that firefight was quite nice. Losing to Minotaurs really kind of sucks But when you're, like, removal is targeted towards whatever the decks that you're facing normally are, and then you face, like, some type of oddball strategy. Basically, you don't have Force of Will, you die. We didn't have Force of Will, we died. Yeah, that's the one of the downsides to playing Shardless Agent is the inability to play stuff like Counterspell and such. So you are a little bit weaker to, you know, decks like that. As far as the particulars, the main deck feels pretty solid overall. Like, we have game against a lot of things. The only card that continues to, like, be questionable, and it's more a matter of the mana than in terms of, you know, the card's effectiveness, is Hymn to Torok. You know, you saw a couple of games there where we were able to fire it off on turn 2, and then you've seen some games where we aren't able to fire it off because of mana at all. So it's, like, really bizarre in that regard. This suite has seemed pretty reasonable overall. I think, if anything, the flex slot is, like, one of the Uro slots and one of the Shardless Agent slots. Maybe the 4th Gilded Goose isn't necessary. Maybe you only need to run 3. Could even run another Ancestral Visions if you wanted to grind a little bit more. Could run another Thoughtseize or some other, like, discard effect if we wanted some more disruption in the main deck for combo. Or even getting the 4th Abrupt Decay or the 1st Assassin's Trophy in the main. You know, there's a good bit of this thing that's, like, you know, shaving numbers can be moved around, but the main deck seems pretty reasonable overall. The mana really hasn't seemed to be a problem since we switched out the initial thing. Once again, the second Hymn to Torok makes me maybe want a second basic Swamp, but the majority of the deck is blue-green based. So it's like, you know, you got that problem there. The sideboard, you know, the sideboard's a work in progress. You know, I definitely would need to play more. Plague Engineer has been reasonable in a lot of spots. The one of Back to Basics has always come up clutch in every league we've had it. Dead of Winter, nice to have at least one true kind of sweeper in the deck. The first Force of Negation feels mandatory, because this deck is, like I said, pretty vulnerable to, like, dedicated combo decks that, and then, you know, we have a little bit of graveyard vulnerability. I guess that's, like, one of the things with this deck is just, like, tuning the sideboard and tuning the 75 to beat the meta. You know, I think this is a deck that could be very good in, like, big event metas, but I do think it's kind of soft in an open meta. I never really played the original Shardless Sultai. I knew it was around when Miracles and Delver were big decks, the original Rug Delver variant. So I presume it's reasonable in those matchups, and I remember it being soft to dedicated combo before because of the same problem like we're running into, you know, with Force of Will being only your true combo interaction besides, you know, discard spells and Hymn to Torok. I do believe it also originally ran Liliana of the Veil, but I don't think what we're doing with this particular strategy, and I don't think Liliana in general is particularly good in the meta. So, for those reasons, I'm not running Liliana. And this deck, I'm not going to lie, this deck coming back, or if this deck ends up being a thing, is heavily predicated on Oko being legal. So if Oko gets banned, I do think this deck goes back to being basically unplayable in this form. Like, I mean, you can cut the Gilded Gooses and go with, like, a, you know, some type of, like, mid-range Sultai shell. But as far as, like, it being a Shardless Agent good stuff deck, I think that kind of goes on the wayside if Oko gets banned. Because Oko is, like, one of the primary draws to this deck. Because, unlike, say, 4-color Snoko, you know, you're still running pressure with, like, Tarmogoyfs and such. You're not, like, a dedicated control deck. And unlike, say, Rug Delver, you know, you have the tools to grind outside of your creatures in Oko. You know, you're not trying to... You're obviously, like, that deck's better at pressure and combo, but this deck is better at, I think, the fair mid-range fights. And then everything else is just kind of you're kind of a dog. In some ways, I feel I don't want to say in some ways it's the Jund of the Legacy format, because there is an actual Jund deck. But I do feel like this is one of those decks that's just like, you can tune it to beat whatever you want to beat, but you're going to lose to most everything else. And, you know, even with Force of Will, this deck just has a ridiculous amount of card advantage. So, you know. And, you know, doesn't have to play Astrolabe. Yeah, it can play Back to Basics. So, you know, what more do you want in a deck? Deck that you can tune, a deck you can have fun with. But, you know, the thing is, I don't know if I'm the pilot to do it. It is kind of part of the wrap-up. So, anyways, I did have one announcement to make, and I'm probably going to reiterate this a couple times this week. I'm going to be going to go back to a dedicated streaming schedule. I think I'm going to be going Sunday through Wednesdays. The minimum of midnight to 2 for the most part. And I think is going to be the core hours. Some nights it'll be like 11:30 to 2:30, 11:30 to 3. And then take Thursday, Friday, Saturday off of streaming to work on other stuff. Or just get more sleep, whatever the case may be. As I do work a job at Walmart from 1 to 10 at night. So, it's kind of the other announcement. And then beyond that, I'll be back tomorrow night. I don't know. I'm still not sure which one of your decks, War Dog, I want to play. Like, if I wanted to go for Spice, the Waste Not deck seems pretty sweet. But in terms of, like, decks that I think I can comfortably pilot, I honestly think the Prowess deck makes more sense for me. But what night would you prefer of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for your deck to be run, War Dog?